Okay, so in this session we are going to talk about creating a compatible modules of an existing Luma modules, right? So we will be going through the journey of creating a Hyva compatible module of an existing Luma module, and yeah, so here is my team. I am Parth Patel, and my friend and colleague Parbat Singh will be delivering this talk. So yeah, and for those who are unaware or new to Hyva, Hyva is basically a Magento 2 front-end theme, right? It is basically a Magento 2 front-end theme built with total scratch, and it is built in such a way that it is made with to improve the performance of our website and to ease the life of the developer. So what Luma based themes are like, they put the JavaScript into an external files and they have to load it while a page is loaded. So that makes things very clumsy and messy, right? So in Hyva, all these JavaScripts are converted into a vanilla JS components. So yeah, so that gives the performance boost as well as ease the developer's life. That is a win-win for both the developer and the merchant, right? So for Hyva, the prerequisites are like you need to have Magento 243 or higher, and valid license for Hyva themes. Yeah, basically. So before going into the code, I would say let's first understand what the aim of our compatible module is going to have, right? So we will have an existing Luma based module. We are just going to make the view layer of that module compatible with the current Hyva theme, right? That is in our storefront. So let's assume that our existing Luma is as complex as it can get. It has many things like API, blocks, controllers and everything. But we only have to think about the view layer of Luma based module, that is view and view models, right? We will only focus on view and view models, nothing else. We only need to make compatible the PHTML files and the JavaScript files and all that with our Hyva compatible theme. Now you would say we are working with view layer, right? Why didn't we include blocks? So in Hyva, all usage of blocks are converted into view models. View models are given a lot of preference in Hyva. So later on we will talk about this view model. Let's move forward. Now before crafting module, let's discuss about the naming conventions of our Hyva modules. There is no hard code rule for this naming convention, but it is a good process to name a certain module in a certain way that just by taking a glance, we get to know that okay, this is a Hyva compatible module. So the standard for that is like if let's say our original module is Evrig product label Hyva, then our compatible module should name like Evrig product label Hyva. So yeah, I mean we just need to add suffix to our module name there, and that suffixed with Hyva is our compatible module. And for those who are very technical, this is just this is the basic skeleton of compatible module, and it is very same as the Luma based module, right? Okay. So you did notice the front-end dependency injection file. That is the key in creating in registering the module as a compatible module for existing Luma module. What that file contains is, in this file we will register our module in core module registry of Hyva theme, and what this will do is this will register our module as a compatible module for our original existing Luma based module. So what that does, that will automatically override all the view files that are available in our Luma module into our compatible modules. And it is smart enough that if that file is not available in our compatible module, it will have a fallback version, and that file will be called in from our Luma based module, right? So that our design doesn't break out. And the next second thing this thing does is registering our module in compact module registry does is that it will register our file in Hyvä theme.json. That file is located at app etc folder. So what you don't need to manually change anything in that file, but it is very good to know that what it file does. So before going into that, let's discuss. We all know what tailwind config.js file is, right? Tailwind config.js file basically contains all the configurations that our tailwind CSS needs for the module, right? So if we need to add our content where that needs to be purged, then we will put it here. If we need any custom stylings, we will put in here. But how this tailwind config.js file will merge its content to the themes tailwind config.js file, right? How the tailwind compiler will know that, okay, I have to take this file's content also. That is where the Hyvä theme.json file comes into the picture. Whatever modules that are registered in this file will be, that module's tailwind config.js file will be merged with the themes tailwind config.js. So yes, and for the latest Hyvä version, that this is thing you don't need to put it manually, but yes, for the earlier versions you will have to look for your modules in this Hyvä config.js file, right? So moving forward, okay, now we know the basic structure of our Hyvä modules, but as I said earlier, the Hyvä theme is built up from total scratch. All the XML files don't relate to Luma, right? So we also need to make it compatible to Hyvä modules, Hyvä theme, sorry. And to make it compatible with Hyvä themes, we will have to migrate, or I would say make compatible all the blocks and containers from existing Luma to Hyvä. Hyvä provides a very convenient way for it. It just adds all the layouts that are available in our page at the time of loading. The another version of it, but just by adding a prefix called Hyvä. Let's say when our page loads, a default module layout is available, then Hyvä will add another layout called Hyvä default. Now whatever you have put into the default file, default.xml file, the same Hyvä compatible version you can put into the Hyvä underscore default.xml file. Okay, but how we can ensure that all this our override will actually work? So for that, Hyvä actually executes the Hyvä underscore default file after the main default file is loaded. So this ensures that our execution always overrides the default modules. Right? Yeah, we discussed about view models earlier. Earlier in Magento, I would say still in Luma, we need to add a lot of boilerplate code to just inject a view module into the PHTML file, right? Suppose let's say we need to add 5 view models, then we will need to inject each 5 view models individually. This is changed in Hyvä. In Hyvä, they have introduced view model registry in all the PHTML file by default. Just as blocks and escapers are available by default, now you can access view model registry in each PHTML file by default also, right? So from that view model registry, you can easily access any view model you want, right? So let's say I have a view model class called orders. That order can be easily accessed by view model registry, right? I hope you get the picture. Also, I would like to put in a weight like that. Hyva has created whole theme, but has not used a single block of its own, right? To put a number, Hyva theme has 2 blocks. One is for caching and one is for breadcrumbs to render on the client side, right? So those 2 blocks are used. Those 2 blocks are totally different from the development, right? So without creating a single block, Hyva has created a whole theme based only on view models. So it has many view models for everything. You can reuse this in your customizations. And talking about view models, I talked about we have not used block class, right? So now question arises, okay, if we need to add cache tags and all things related to cache, how are we gonna do it? For that, Hyva has also introduced a way. You just implement the identity interface that Magento by default adds in a block class. You just implement that into the current view model and return all the identities that entity could have, and that will automatically be added to the X Magento vary that is used for caching. So that will automatically add to the X Magento cache vary. So now your caching will also work just as fine. Okay. Now we all know the basic structures, basic things to care of in creating a module, right? Now let's get started. So when you are gonna try to make a module compatible, you are gonna get lot of errors. Like you will be overwhelmed with all the errors you see in your browser consoles. For that, you just need to follow a simple path. Take a small step-by-step approach, right? Just for reference, open up a Luma-based page that is not breaking into a private browser, and in the other window, open the Hyva version and compare it. Compare all the errors that you are going to get in the console. Short circuit all the PHTML files then, so that all your console errors are gone, right? Now step by step, take one PHTML file at a time, remove short circuit, you load the page, you will get an error, but nominal. Solve those errors, move to next PHTML, remove the short circuit. Okay, so this will be our overall approach in making the PHTML file compatible with Hyva. Now from now onwards, like now I would like to call my friend colleague Parbat to deep dive into the details of how actually we are gonna do things in PHTML files.
How we can make the compatible module with the in Hyva theme from the Luma. So mostly all the JavaScripts in Hyva are inline, like in the same HTML we are using the JavaScript functions, but in the Luma theme we know that we use a small HTML file and then loading in our Luma based template file, but in Hyva theme they are using mainly all the JavaScript functions. The motive behind it that it improves our speed performance of our page in which we are using our custom extension. So this is the motive behind it, and in the and also if there is a more JavaScript functions that we are going to use in our template, we can use in the JavaScript. So there is no. So first, and when I was working with the junior management, and I got those types of X Magento in it and X data management in it, I face many problems. These seems very complex, but with the Hyva theme, we can just complete it within some small lines of code. Like with the Luma theme, we use Magento to create external JavaScript file for our specific element and then update the elements content using those external JavaScript file. But with the Hyva, we can do in a same file. Like I have given an example. Like I have created element with ID 1 and I have initialized the component, and inside the xinit function I have updated the content of that element. So you can see that we are just using script tag also in the same file, and we are not calling any external file. So this improves our the page speed, and it will not block the rendering block in our page speed performance. So in the next next slide, like when we are working with the data attributes and get value of data attribute and set value of attribute of any element, then with the jQuery we just use a data function and the element ID, and we get the value of that element. But and also in jQuery, if we delete that data value, it will also be available in the consecutive calls because jQuery is storing it anywhere. And with the vanilla.js, because we have to do with only the vanilla.js, because jQuery is not available with the Hyva theme. So we have to just simply run the document.query selector. This is a pure vanilla.js, and we can also use the datasets for setting value and also get the value with the vanilla.js. So, but you know that using this function, we cannot store. We are not storing this value at anywhere. So for the next consecutive calls in the vanilla.js, we have to store the data values anywhere, and then we can use that value for the next consecutive call if the data element is deleted. And in the next slide, we are seeing that these are the Hyva objects, Windows.Hyva objects that are available on all the pages to use and for our custom functionality. Like we can set the cookie using the Hyva.set cookie, and we can get browser storage also if we need any private content of our browser storage, and also Hyva.get form key if we want to use form key on our post request, and we can there is also function like Hyva.format price. We can use those functions, Hyva.format price for the PDB page and the category page to format the pricing, and Hyva.str, this is for the argument replacement for any string, like we are using underscore and some percent attribute like for the extra argument in our string. So this is a replacement if you can use in templates file. And this is the next thing, like when we are requesting when we are creating a post request, we need to use the base URL of our store and also the store code of current running store code, and we want to use the REST API for this, or also base URL for some AJAX or AJAX calls. So we can use just base URL, the base store URL of our site, and we can use for our post. And for the current store code, we can just simply use a current store code variable, and it will return us the current store code of our store in which we are running. So base URL is just we can using the base URL to replace the URL builder, and that's it. Okay, so next thing, using the jQuery, we get the post the AJAX, but when it comes to the Hyva, we don't have the jQuery, so we need to use vanilla.js feature, which is fetch, and we can pass some arguments with you can see on the screen. I have passed two arguments, test1 and test2, and created a fetch request with the URL and when we get the response, we can update over DOM elements or whatever we want to update. So this is the replacement because we will not going to use the AJAX anymore with the Hyvα. So next, these are the some Hyvα JavaScript events which are available for our use. So private content like when we update our card or something we are logging. So whenever the browser private content is updated, it will automatically Hyvα will automatically call this event, and we can achieve our custom thing that we want to use in our custom regions. So also the reload custom and configurable selection check is fired in the product view page whenever we change any configuration of our product. If that product is a configurable product. So with that, if you want to do some more customization or want to extra info, do that event. And we can dispatch any event, custom event using the Windows dispatch event, that is a simple vanilla function, and the event name, and also if we want to pass extra argument to the dispatch event, we can also pass with the detail or some extra argument. And also we can also subtract any event with also using the at the rate functionality of Alpine.js. Like simply we will write @private content loaded.window. So it will automatically call this function, receive customer section data whenever this private content loaded function event will be called. So we can use this receive custom section data function in our custom JavaScript, and we can update our custom things for the DOM updates. And next is a simple example component of Hyvα theme with the Alpine.js. So you can see that I have created an initialized data with X data attribute of Alpine. If you have familiar with the Alpine.js, X data will simply initiate this JavaScript function init component. And inside init component, I have declared two variables which customer they are initially are false, but I have added also a event subscriber like private content window, and I have added a function receive customer data. So you can see that I have also declared function receive customer data, and I have added a that will be going to the that private content loaded event will be called, then we will get those data. So whenever this event will trigger, we will go receive the customer section data, and when we receive the customer section data, we will if data has the card, then we will going to assign the card data into a variable that we have initially created as false. So when we get card data, we will update the card variable, and in the next function I have used a customer for if we have the customer data in our content, then we will assign those customer data customer variable, and we will show simply those data. And in next element I have declared template which says if not logged in, then I will going to show. If customer is logged in, then it will simply say customer.log. So if customer is logged in, then it will simply show the customer name. If it is not logged.
Hello. So if customer is not logged in, then it simply show welcome guest. So you know that we are already done it with the Knockout.js in Luma theme. So we can just simply achieve it in the same file using the Alpine and Vanilla.js. So there are some coding standard for the Hyvä theme, and which we have to follow while we are creating the Hyvä-Compatible module. So you can find all those rules here, and you can disable also some specific rules in your template file, but you have to be more specific when you are disabling any coding standard rule. Like you do not want to you want to disable a coding standard, like say you like line is exceeding that much of character, you can disable it, but you have to be more specific. If you just want to disable that coding standard, then just specific that I want to disable only. If you will ignore all the coding standard for all file, then it will be a not good practice. So one more thing for the performance, like Hyva introduced a special event that will triggered whenever a user interact with our pages. So when the first page load, it will when first page load, like sometimes we just want to add a third-party script in our custom pages, but you know that those third-party JavaScripts are rendering over blocking over rendering resources, and our Google ranking will show that your speed seems slow. So for this issue, Hyva just introduced a new function like init external scripts, which this is the event, basically JavaScript event. This will be dispatched automatically whenever user interact with the site. Like he has loaded the page but didn't interact with the site, then this script will not be going to used in the header tag. But when he just interact with the site, like scroll to the site or run the wheel on the site, then this JavaScript will be automatically added to the header, and when we will check the performance with the page speed, then this external JavaScript will no longer be there, which like it is blocking your resources. So that's it. So there are also extra resources for the official Hyva documentation you can go through, and for the Alpine.js learning you can also go through with their official documentation, and you can also track the compatible module. Like there are some third-party modules which we have already installed in our store, but you know, we are migrating with the Hyva theme, but those modules are not Hyva compatible. Then you can check that if those third parties are providing the Hyva compatible module is already or not. So you can go through with that. And also there is a Hyva Slack channel. You can also visit to that channel and directly ask any issue you are facing, and Vinay or William will be directly sending you the reply. So I know Vinay is there, I know. So you can directly reach out with that Slack channel, and he will be going to reply every query. So thank you.